Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a really powerful question. What if every single child, and I mean every child, could not just do math, but actually succeed at it? Let's figure out how to make that a reality.
So let's just jump right in with the big one. We've all heard someone say it, right? Maybe we've even said it ourselves. Oh, I'm just not a math person. But what if that whole idea, the idea of a special math brain, is actually one of the biggest things holding people back? In this explainer, we're going to tear that myth apart.
You know, the key to unlocking math for everyone really boils down to this one word, equity. And equity is not about giving every student the exact same worksheet or the same lecture. It's about fairness. It's about looking at each student and asking, what do you need to succeed? And then giving them those specific tools and that unique support. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about the main goal, math equity. Then we'll get into how things like culture, language, and gender really matter in the classroom. After that, we'll look at some real strategies for supporting all the different abilities you'll find in a room. And finally, we're going to dive into the students' inner world, their minds and their anxieties. Think of this as opening up a super practical toolkit for educators. First things first, let's talk about laying the foundation. Because really, before you use any fancy techniques or strategies, it all starts with a fundamental belief about who is actually capable of learning math. And this, right here, is the absolute crucial first step. The real work actually begins with us, with the teachers, the parents, anyone guiding a student. It's about taking a hard look at our own biases and assumptions, and then actively challenging them. It's about building a space where every single student walks in the door and is treated like a capable mathematician from day one. All right, building on that foundation, let's grab our next set of tools. These are the ones that help us build bridges and connect with the incredible diversity you find in any modern classroom. You might have noticed the look and feel we're going for here. You know, these warm colors, the softer, more organic shapes instead of hard boxes. We did that on purpose. It's meant to mirror the very ideas we're talking about, creating a learning environment that feels welcoming, inclusive, and community-focused, a place that celebrates diversity. So, here are some super practical strategies for working with culturally and linguistically diverse students. And honestly, these little adjustments can make a massive difference. Things like, skipping the slang, speaking at a nice, steady pace, and this is a big one, giving students just a little extra time to process a question before they answer. It's not about dumbing down the math. It's about clearing away the obstacles so they can get to it. Okay, next up in our toolkit, we need to address the fact that in any given classroom, you've got a whole spectrum of learners. Some students need a little extra help, and some are just ready to take off and fly. Now, a really powerful framework for this is called response to intervention, or RTI. You can think of it like a safety net. It's a structured, organized way to spot students who are starting to struggle and give them the support they need before they fall behind. So let's break this down real quick. Tier 1, the big base of the pyramid, is just great, solid teaching for everyone. That's going to cover about 80 to 85% of your students. But if a student isn't getting it, they move to Tier 2 for some smaller group, more targeted help. And then for the few who need it, Tier 3 provides that really intensive one-on-one support. The whole point is to be proactive, not reactive. But what about the kids on the other end of the spectrum? For gifted students, we have something called differentiated instruction. Now, the core math concept stays the same for everybody, but you can change the complexity or the depth of the task. This makes sure that every single student, no matter where they're starting from, has a way into the lesson and a path to keep growing. All right, for our last section, we're shifting gears a little. We're moving from the big classroom structures to the individual students' internal world, their unique minds, and maybe most importantly, their anxieties. This is a great illustration of Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. And it's such a fantastic reminder that being logic smart is just one way to be smart. You've got students who are picture smart, or body smart, or people smart. A great teacher knows how to tap into these different intelligences, presenting math ideas in lots of different ways, so every kind of learner has a hook to hang their understanding on. But, intelligence is really only half the battle. We know for a fact that our emotions play a massive role in how we learn. So that leads to a big question. How do we deal with one of the biggest emotional roadblocks in this subject? I'm talking about math anxiety. It is so real, and it can be completely paralyzing for a student. But here are 3 simple, powerful things a teacher can do. First, soften the authority in the room. Make it feel like a team effort, like we're all figuring this out together. Second, reduce that public exposure. Maybe don't call kids up to the board to solve a problem in front of everyone. And third, ease up on those timed tests. Rushing creates panic, not deep thinking. These small shifts can totally change the emotional temperature of a classroom. So when you put all these pieces together, what's the big picture goal? It's not just about getting kids to memorize formulas or get the right answer on a test. The real goal is to build confident, capable human beings who know how to solve problems, not just in math, but in life. And that pretty much wraps us up. When you look back at everything we covered, from response to intervention, to understanding different intelligences, to those simple remedies for math anxiety, I'll just leave you with this one question. What is one tool from this explainer that you are going to add to your own personal toolkit?